Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, and I just want to come at this holiday Thanksgiving time season like action and say a few words because I've noticed a shift and I'd like to talk about it. I had a very enjoyable Thanksgiving and then an evening and night of relative unease. And this morning I was moved to think about my circumstances a bit differently. I've gone through a period of time of relative inactivity. After a year of relative change, but what I was urged to do this morning was to maybe not personalize this inaction quite so much. Yes, I've had some inactivity. I say this because really since July feels like about 2 weeks ago, honestly. I don't know what happened to the summer, and I can't believe that it's the end of November now. But that brings up a lot of things that have to do with the timing. It was August 21 that we had a big eclipse. The final one, I think, of a set. And this work was, it spanned an entire year, the year of 2017. And those eclipses, I had understood that, and I used them for the purpose of walking into a brand new life. Now, how does one go about that, really? Good question, Kath. But then what has followed is kind of a dismantling of a lot of things. It's kind of weird. I did the thing that's very helpful when you're going through a lot of change, to just simply write down what has happened as if you were talking to a 5-year-old who loves you. Just tell your story. And when I realized what has happened, and I was just trying to recount the last year, and as I did so, I realized that all of these events, the big ones, they happened in July and August. And since then, what has occurred is an evolution of those great changes. And you know those stress tests that you can take where, let's see how many changes you've had, and that'll tell you like how stressed out you are and how prone to heart disease you are and all this. Well, that's on the premise that change is bad, right? But it's like major disruptions rate high. And oh my, I've been working as at the bedside as a helper and a healer since I was 13. I'm now 56. And my last shift was July 11th. That's a big deal. But I just recently stopped Deeply Awake. That's a big deal. My son moved back in to our home full-time during the first eclipse in February. That night, in fact. And then 6 months later, 4 days after the eclipse, his daddy, his father, not his daddy, my ex, walked out of our lives for good. So many changes. And I know that they could be painted as losses. The things I wrote down that have changed, challenging. Degree of difficulty, high. But they're not losses. And I wrote down some of the great things that happened too. Change is about loss and benefit. It's It's about change. And I know, when something's good, we want to keep it good. The good stuff changes too. So I did grieve some losses, along with my turkey. As I said, my thank yous. And the losses this year are just entirely bittersweet. Just heart-stoppingly so. Very poignant. Ain't nothing I can do about it except watch it all pass. So today I woke up and I wrote this list of just, things that have changed, just innocently. And then I realized, wow, these are whoppers. These are big ones. And if anybody else was going through it, I'd tell them to just take it easy. Which is what I did. Well, bravo. And I didn't take it all that easy. I kept working on Deeply Awake. I kept taking care of my son. I kept improving my home. I kept going to appointments for my physical problems. So now comes the future, and that's why I really want to come to you today, because I heard the starting gun this morning. I love the idea that I am not an island in a vast sea, separated, isolated, set apart. I am not that. I'm a finger on a hand. I am an energy node on a grid that's planetary. And in distress, although I know I have help and I am surrounded by a tribe of human beings who hold my frequency, hold my understandings, they're part of the grid too. When in distress, it's God that soothes me. You can call it the unified field. You can call it all it is. You can call it Creator. Call it whatever doesn't offend you. But there's something out there and within that is worthy of reverence. Reverence. And I know that. And so I want the systems that I deal with to demonstrate reverence toward me and toward themselves, and they don't. And I guess if that puts me in argument with some systems and some human beings, so be it. I want every human being on earth to revere themselves, to find what is within them that is good, and to fan that flame. Undeniably, unquestionably good, innocent, pure, that has survived every lie, every drunken deed, every bad judgment. Something pure and innocent and good, that the only response can be one of reverence. That's what soothes me in the dead of night. It's what instructs me at morning's light. And it's what I hope my words and my deeds convey. I allow myself the freedom to follow my judgment my guidance. And for the last 3 months, my guidance has said to just stay within the breath between inhalation and exhalation. Just stay there. And this morning I really felt like, wow, I think it's the unease I feel, it's because I have been standing down. And I haven't given myself permission. And somehow that list of changes, at least in retrospect, gave me permission to relax and to heal up. So much of the things that I found offensive have been stripped from my life. They're gone. Pretty weird, huh? I mean, straight up offensive and in my face. They're not around anymore. I don't have to deal with them every day. I don't have to explain them to myself and my activity with them. I don't have to justify it because there is none. So, did I get stripped of inauthenticity? I don't know. But it does feel like the stage is bare. And there's people around back, and they want to bring props in. And and it's good. My space will be different now. And I know that it involves moving from this waiting period into the land of action. That's the props, and that's what I'm doing today. Because it really hasn't been time to set things up, and now I know it's time. I haven't felt organized, and every time I try, I'm so disorganized. I either can't find the book, or I can't find my wallet, or I can't find this, or I can't find that, and the plans don't get done. And now they can start. So, very odd. So, I don't know if others are going through these kind of changes now. I would imagine some people are. I'm not alone. But I do know that, a great amount of people are not here. I do want to share something that just blew my mind and made me feel better. We were driving along, and I was sharing something about just my general dissatisfaction with humanity or something. And Sam said, well, don't you understand? Not everybody is a star person. Everybody has stardust in their DNA. Everybody has stardust. But not everybody's a star person. And suddenly it just kind of clicked. Okay, well so I asked him some questions about that. Well, why are the human beings who are not star people, what are they doing here? And it kind of answers itself. But boy, that's a much different reality. I don't have to expect a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. I expect a lot from star children. They know better. And I think I've been pissed at the world because I've been thinking that everyone's a star person. Everybody should know better, and yet they're behaving so like beasts. What's that about? And maybe everyone is a star person, but a lot of people have sworn it off. Maybe, I don't know. But I like the stardust thing. Everybody's from the stars. But some people originate here. They're earthlings. They're not Pleiadians. They're not Arcturans. They're not... Everybody has to have a home planet. It doesn't make them lesser creatures. It just makes them have a different... They're younger. And they've chosen to start fresh here. But they're like saplings in a forest of like in an aspen grove. That's the part I don't understand. I'm getting there. There's a part in Dolores Cannon's books where that just jarred me when I read the word. Even just like, whoa, this is so correct and true, but it goes against everything I know to be true. And it's the concept of backdrop people. I mean, I'm always thinking that every single human being that's in a crowd or on the highway or whatever is like me. They have this starry trajectory and they're, enveloped with the love of God, and every single thing they do has to have meaning and purpose. And no, that's not what the average Joe is like. No, that's just me. So that was helpful, and as is advice I received from a friend, that I might be the only one of my kind around here, and it's okay to get used to being a little bit lonely, just a little bit homesick. It's okay. It would be acceptable. It would be understandable, and it's not the end of the world if that's a feeling I have. It's actually makes sense. It's valid. So that's a little bit of esoterica for you. I guess I want to finish by letting you know that part of the reason for coming is hearing the starting gun means that it's on. It's not that we're waiting anymore. There's this really funny post that I like on Facebook. I think I might have tagged myself on it. I don't know. But it's 3 native Indians, like in the headdresses and everything like that. And they're sitting on stallions. And they're on a ridge. And it's dramatic lighting, like at sunset. And the caption reads, "There's nothing as boring as waiting for the apocalypse." And I felt that for not just years, decades. When is it going to start? When is it going to start? When is my life going to start? My life officially began in 2012. And I really feel that as we head into 2018, which it's glory, hallelujah, we're going to head into more duality, more stark contrast, more shadow work, more people going to their mirror, looking into it, and really not liking what they see, perhaps appropriately so. How else does a person change? The thing is that fundamental change cannot occur, in my esteemed opinion, without something being discovered deep within that is good and pure and innocent. And as that grows, that reverence grows, the behavior that gets you into trouble, the behavior that's led you off course, the behavior that has ensured your imprisonment, the expectations, the beliefs, they begin to not measure up to this purity, this cleanliness that can happen. The awareness of it can happen in a heartbeat. It's the heart of the spiritual experience. Being hit with love that you cannot explain, and you know you didn't earn. And as you're feeling it, you can feel it healing you. It's like casting off shadows. Change becomes casting off shadows then. So it's that purity and innocence and goodness and cleanliness. The physics that does not argue with itself. Coherence. An unspeakably divine, personal love. That is what is being delivered to people in the general population and to us, to all of us. I can't speak to whether there's gradations. All I know is that, there's a populace that that voted a racist into our American government, and he's been in power for a year now, or almost. There's a consciousness out there that is slow, dull-witted, mean-spirited, scared out of its mind, wanting to come home. And then there are this band of weirdos who've come through storms and life changes like phoenixes. This is our time. Hearing that starting gun is only a reminder of how well trained we are, how ready we are. And so my inaction, it may not change all that much, and it may change dramatically. I don't know. But I can feel it. And I know I don't have to worry. It's like being on a conveyor belt once it starts. So if you're in a period of repose, of things not coming together, of things sliding from your mind or your ability to do them in mid-task, you lose interest and can't continue. Or you're lost in time, you can't remember anything. Let it be. It's supposed to be like that. The magnetics are changing. We are changing. We're getting ready. The props are being brought in. And the play is going to take a different direction. For each of us. For all of us. We're changing from the inside out. Why wouldn't our institutions? All of them. In the end, I've always felt it comes down to how I feel as I lay my head on the pillow. How I feel when my eyes open up to a new day. What's it like inside? And it's not about being happy. It's not like it's important to paste on a happy face. It's important to stay with that love, that purity, that innocence, that goodness, that light. For me. Because it's in there. And it's out there. I think that's the divine blueprint. That each of us are innocent creators having a romp. But boy, oh boy, you bring it down to flesh on flesh, and emotions run high, and stories are told. Karma is delivered. So, thinking bigger helps. Remembering that it's here. It's actually here. There's no more need to wait. And for me, I'm sort of reminding myself that it's okay to go at this differently than before. Because before I was a maniacal devil, and I was a little pit bull with whatever I was going to do, and I just would tear it up. I'm still like that. It's rather Aspergery. Pick a subject and exhaust it. But so I'm open to doing my life a little bit differently, a little bit more balanced, and that's good. allowing myself to emerge from this time of repose altered, allowing myself permission to do things differently, to respond and to react differently, and to maybe judge my reactions at times unskilled and be devoted to skilled behavior. No need to put myself down anymore, and really no need to put anyone else down. Although I tire of what I see as simple barbarism, while others interpret their behavior as saint-like. What can you do? Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their perspective, thankfully. So, random thoughts. I need to get going. I'm glad to have come. I'm glad I'm not visiting the screen very often. But doing so reminds me that the work is okay, and that it's okay to just pop in now and then. Right, I hope that each are doing well. You don't have to worry about doing it right. Just show up. Listen. Am I saying that to you, or am I saying that to me? Really, to me. All right, that's all I have to say. Oh wait, there is one more thing. The next thing to come is yes, there's like gateways and stuff like that, but the next big thing is the solstice. For me, is the 12/12 is always that's my high holy day. So for me that's a big deal. And then begins a 12-day. For me, a 12-day corridor. The 13th is like a bonus day. So it's a very, very, very reverent time, and very sainted, very holy. Always has been. And I got a download from about the solstice, how peaceful I was, how everything was complete. And still, believe me, it's the day after Thanksgiving. What I was feeling, I have no idea how I could possibly get there from here. I have no idea. But I have that sensation of calm and of everything being complete. And really being happy. Just satisfied. Like there's no push to go forward. There's no atrophy. There's just peace. And I like that. That really, to me, symbolizes the winter solstice in particular. To me, it's a very dramatic moment. It's the moment that we welcome the light again. We're welcoming spring and summer again. It's blackness that turns brilliant in a moment that is nothing short of miraculous. That solstice. That moment of balance. Of stillness. The still point. 0 point. The solstice. So, there's a lot to get ready for. And I'm glad that I feel like I've got my marching orders a little bit. And I guess the reason I'm bringing it to you is that I know I'm tip of the spear kind of thing. And I was delivered a few big changes. And I know I'm not the only one there. And given how I roll and my tribe rolls, honey, you can deliver 5, 6, 7 body blows. We're still going to get up. We're still going to spit the blood out of our mouths, look up, say, is that all you got? That's us. The leaders. The ones who have been scrambled. The ones who have been different. The leaders. This lifetime or next. It's well with my soul. I wanted to bring this to you. And I ask you to please revel in your changes. Sure, there's loss. It's benevolence itself. If you're curious about that, in the midst of great change, go to the mirror and look into your eyes, and you'll know. You're safe. Guided, in fact. And far bigger than any obstacle or question or conundrum or loss. There are a few losses in this game. Seems to go with the territory. Look bigger. So to close, on the solstice of, I think it was 2015? I think so. I was performing with a choir, a big one, and we were performing a Christmas thing. It was very intense. There's a lot of music to memorize, and it was just beautiful, 8-part harmony and things like that. Beforehand, it was the first performance of, I think, 9, and I was in high meditation prior, right before going on to stage. And in this meditation, I wrote about it. I saw darkness. There was a hint of light, but just a hint. And then all of a sudden, I saw sunrise. And the dark earth wasn't the same. It was illuminated. And what was hidden was coming into focus. And they swept me away and told me, this is what is happening now on the planet. This light cannot be stopped. It's physics. It's unstoppable. I remember that moment from time to time. It brings me strength when all around me is darkness. Anymore, with just a glimmer of light, that sun pierces the darkness. Innocence, goodness, purity, reverence, return. That's my gift. I don't know when I'll come back. I wish everyone peace and love and harmony. Peace. 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 Say that.